Hey, it's your boy Kai. Welcome to the Kyrus Friends podcast, where I sit down with the people that mean the most to me. Those are my colleagues and my friends. If you like our comic book news panel today, please be sure to follow me at The Vibe with Kai or on any of your favorite social media platforms. You can also visit my official website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. This week on our panel, we'll be talking all about the second episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll react to the new Suicide Squad trailer that was just released this week. Super excited about that. We're going to talk about the new Black Widow release date news. Let's see if they actually stick to it this time. And then, of course, we'll talk about Black Adam and all of the casting that is happening on that side of the DC world. Sorry, Michael Anthony Cray. We're going to be talking a little bit about DC today. Please be aware that today's panel may contain spoilers for various MCU and DC projects. So, of course, proceed with caution. With that said, once again, welcome to the Kyrus Friends podcast. I hope you enjoy this latest edition of our panel. Joining us today are my favorite MCU and DC nerds who have come back for another round of nerding outs. First and foremost, my love, my wonderful person who sent me a wonderful text message this morning, which I can't wait to check out. I'm excited about it. My friend, Mr. Jared Milian. Hi.
Hi. Oh, you're so sweet. Thanks for not. I forgot I even. Well, I didn't forget I sent it, but thank you. I'm blushing now. Thank you.
How you holding up, my friend?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day. I'm excited to be back with my friends, so I'm good. I'm real good.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Also joining us, looking fabulous as always. Bruce Cruz. I'm kidding. Looking fabulous as always.
Are you wrong?
Mr. Jonathan V. Polanco. What are you blessing us with today, Mr. Polanco?
Okay. So she's the I tried to go for a little bit of a Star-Spangled Man type beat today.
Yes, that glitter in the crease. I'm here for the glitter in the crease.
Girl, that's the ring light behind the camera.
I love it. How are you this week?
I'm good. It's been a very interesting week. I got promoted at work, so I've been
that's
doing
what I'm
all
talking
of that
about.
fun stuff, learning all the new things that I need to learn. However, walking to work has been a little bit of a conundrum because this week has gone from like 50 to 80 to super sunny to windy to rainy.
Yes. Yesterday was like the wind was insane, at least down in this area. I don't know what it was like.
Yeah, it was bad here too.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was a little bit excited, but
don't blow away, John. We need you. Don't blow away.
I'm hoping that Wanda just turns my town into a little mini Westview again, and that's what I was actually hoping for yesterday. That was what I was hoping all the wind was, but it's all right. Life goes on.
I love it. Well, I'm happy to have you back. And then our special guest panelist today, Mr. Bruce Cruz. What's up, man? Thank you for joining us today. What's up?
Of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me. It's I feel awesome, being here with all you guys.
I know, dude. Well, it's funny because like Jared and I were talking about this. Like, obviously, we nerd out. Like, I know I'll shoot you like a text every now and then, or like before or after like a rehearsal or show. We're talking about some like comic book stuff. But now we get to actually officially talk about.
I know, like we're actually like having a full blown nerd conversation. It's great.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us today. My friends, we have a lot to get to today, so I want to get right to it. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see. We're going to start off with Black Adam, which had some casting news that came out this week. Look at this cast. I'm a fan. Now here's the thing. Admittedly, my Black Adam knowledge is quite minimal. But I know that The Rock is quite excited for it, and he has been for years, and he has not stopped talking about it. But so we have Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Black Adam. We'll start over here to the left. We have Aldis Hodge as Hawkman, who I've seen in a couple of things before. So I'm happy to see him get his flowers right now. Noah Centined, I believe is how you say his name, as the Atom Smasher. I am not familiar with him. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything, but I may be wrong. And then this beautiful woman over here, Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone, blessing us with that presence, and then rounding it out, this handsome gentleman, has been handsome for years. I don't think he'll ever not be handsome. Mr. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. So initial reactions. What do you think of this cast of Black Adam?
I mean,
I think it's cool. I like that there's so much color. I like
the diversity is great.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I have some feelings about us making DC films. I do. I get confused as to like, I had a friend text me over Black Adam and they were like, what universe is this in? And I was like, hell if I know. I was like, we'll figure it out.
John, I think I asked you this yesterday. So this is technically speaking, this is part of the DCEU, right?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a continuation either of the Shazam story or kind of like, either a prequel. It's going to be a new kind of foil for Shazam. I'm not sure. I know that Black Adam and Shazam are like they're always going at it in the comics, I believe, right? Or am I mistaken?
No, yeah, I think I read somewhere that supposedly they're going to meet in Shazam 3.
Yeah, so I imagine that this is kind of laying the groundwork for that.
So technically speaking, would that say that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is beating up a little kid?
Yeah, everybody that fights Shazam is literally assaulting a child.
I said this in another chat yesterday. I actually wasn't a big fan of Shazam. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie, and I think I'm one of the very few people that wasn't a big fan of that movie, because I know a lot of people really did like it.
I didn't love it either, to be honest.
I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was okay.
I mean, when it came out after Suicide Squad, Batman, the Josh Whedon Justice League, because we can't say Justice League in general now, because
we need to clarify. We need to clarify.
Josh Whedon,
very different.
The artist formerly known as Justice League, because of the shit called.
Pretty much, exactly. And we had all these kind of movies like back to back that were kind of really, lower caliber and just, not actually engaging for audiences. And then here comes Shazam, which is, the story of a child in Philadelphia, who's, who's like a bad person, but surprise, he stumbles on to a, ancient Greek shrine here in Philly.
As we all do.
I think that it was just a different tone than what Zack Snyder had set up. So I think that they were and I think it's all in response to Marvel. Like that, like they were trying to go with this darker type of cinematic universe, and it wasn't being relayed, and people weren't getting it, and WB was just coming in with their claws and mixing it all up and messing it up. And then they were like, all right, well, heartfelt things like Ant-Man. Like, I feel like Shazam is their version of Ant-Man.
That's fair.
It's family, fun oriented. Because I mean, I'm sorry, when all the kids came out at the end, they all turned into superheroes. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it, it's been out for years. Deal with it.
It's been a couple of years. You should probably see it by now.
But like once that happened, the entire time watching it, I was like, there is not a child watching this that is not going to find someone to look at and be like, I relate to them.
That's fair.
So
in regards to Black Adam, Bruce, I'll start with you. Are you excited for this movie? Like, what are your thoughts on Black Adam?
Yeah, I mean, like you said it before, Dwayne Johnson has been excited since 2014 or 2015.
Yeah, he's been talking about this movie forever.
He's been down to do this project since then. I think it was casted years ago to do it. So, and I mean, you gotta love The Rock. Like, I mean, I love everything he does, but like his personality, just his attitude, his acting, everything he does is just like always just so much fun. And I can't get mad at The Rock for doing something.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's this is like a passion project for him.
Products. I think it'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm going to hope, because it's had such a long time to kind of digest and simmer and really come to fruition. Hopefully it'll be really just thought out, as opposed to in my opinion, some of the other DC works that we've had. But hopefully it'll really be fleshed out and they can begin a whole new world out of this. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited.
He posted this 5 hours ago. He said,
I think you're muted, Kyrus.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. he wrote this about 5 hours ago. This is what he looks like right now. That is insane.
It's just not maintainable. So I think The Rock is like one of those people, like I look at him similarly to the way I almost like look at like Jennifer Lopez, if you know what I mean, where it's almost like he seems like somebody that really maybe doesn't come from a privileged existence, that perhaps has like really won essentially.
Right.
And I think it's like really awesome. I'm excited to see it more like Bruce was saying for him. I'm excited more to see like The Rock than I am really to see the story, because I just think that like the DC universe is like, they throw like spaghetti at the wall and they like hope something sticks.
They're
really
hoping for more Aquaman and Wonder Woman, to hit with the audiences.
But then what's so crazy is like, I love Wonder Woman, I love Aquaman, but then you'll have so many people that don't like those movies. Sure. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're not going to like everything. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be cool. I just hope that I hope that whatever universe they put it in, it just remains in that universe, and we don't have like in 2 years a new Black Adam movie with a new Black Adam, and like it's just like too much.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past DC to somehow find a way to screw it up. Sorry,
it'll
DC.
be Michael B. Jordan in like 2 years, like playing Black Adam.
At the same time, though, the thing that is wonderful about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, let's say his full name, let's put some respect on that name. No matter what movie he does, and like there have been many movies where I'll sit and watch trailers for it, and I'll be like, "This is gonna be a shit show."
Rampage.
Exactly. But like, he is just so charismatic. It don't matter. You put him in front of a camera and you give him something to do, he's going to sell it, and it's probably going to be a blockbuster.
Did you see that movie where he had to climb up that skyscraper? It was like the world's tallest building, and he had to like, I forgot what it was called.
Oh yeah. It was he's like climbing and jumping from buildings.
The movie, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I didn't see the movie.
It's like a world-ending movie, right?
No, not that.
No, that's San Andreas.
That's San Andreas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
there's another one. You're right.
Yeah, there's one that he has to like rescue his family, like who's stuck at the top of a skyscraper, which is on fire. And here's the part that I didn't know that I heard from other people in this movie, because of course he's an amputee. He's an amputee. Yes, I'm dead ass. So he like they just had, because since it's The Rock, since it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they had to find a way for him to like be vulnerable. I guess I don't know.
They're like, it's almost offensive, like when you think about it. But it's
I was gonna say,
it's just ridiculous. Like it's like, we're gonna have a movie where somebody else plays Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he's just like doing different films, and there's like people are like in a meeting room, and they're like, set him on fire, cut his arms off. They're like, maybe take an eyeball out, and they're like, and honestly, make him gay for this movie, and then it's like,
from his mouth to your ears, Jesus, and it's like your name we pray.
I think Dwayne "The Rock" is great. I'm not gonna say I don't think he's great.
I like him too.
If you've seen one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film, you've seen them all.
Yes,
but that's why.
But we always come back for more.
We always do come back for more. But I don't know if we could put Scorpion King in there, but well,
that was a pretty bad.
Hush your tongue. Scorpion King is phenomenal. Have you watched Scorpion King recently?
Recently? No.
First one.
I saw
the other 5 made-for-TV movies.
No, I saw the first. I saw the first Scorpion King.
Yeah.
And I walked out saying, "Okay."
You're not gay enough, Kyrus.
What's crazy, first of all, like we could talk about this on a different podcast, because the only person I'm watching in any of those mummy movies is Imhotep, number 1. And I'm like, and number 2, what's crazy is that was like his first acting thing.
It was.
Mummy too,
First thing he came out.
And now he's like a legitimate actor.
And
Like,
we also we need to put some respect on the Mummy franchise, specifically the first two movies. Those are two of the greatest movies of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm sorry. I lived my best life as a young gay boy watching Rachel Weisz with them motherfucking weapons, bitch. You don't understand. Birthed this homosexual. Birthed me. You know, birth of a nation. Birth of a homosexual.
The woman that plays Anaxuna she could be down the street like picking up groceries, and I'm like, that's Anaxuna Moon. Like she has like an arc in Arrested Development. If you've ever seen Arrested Development, she plays she plays like a love interest for Jason Bateman's character and Will Arnett. Like she plays somebody that they both kind of date a little bit, and like she plays like it's such a demure, sweet character, and I'm like watching. I'm like, don't trust her. That's enough to the moon. You can't trust her. Like,
well, with that said, obviously, for Arrested Development, rest in peace, Jessica Walter, who we lost this week. Lucille Wan. I know.
But it's like everyone. And honestly, it's one of those things where, like, I think that if I'm blessed to live till 80 and have a career like she did, like, yes, obviously, like everyone's like, rest in peace. And I'm like, yeah, beautiful. But I'm like, can y'all let her like rest? Like, not because it's one of those things where I'm like, everyone's like, oh, it's such a tragedy. I'm like, is it? She had such a beautiful life, and like
she did. And her career,
kind of mad about this.
I find it so interesting that her career blossomed like during the second half of her life.
Yeah.
You know, like she always had like a very good career, but like she really took off like the second half of her life.
Arrested Development, like for all intents and purposes, was a flop. Like it didn't really do well. Yeah. It really got new life almost a decade after it was over because of like DVDs and like streaming and stuff like that. And people were so obsessed with it. That's why they did that revival on Netflix. So it's interesting because I think our generation, like I would most relate her to Arrested Development or Archer. But like my mother remembers her in some movie called like Play Misty for Me or something, which is apparently like this like classic.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Oh my goodness. She's fantastic.
I have seen her at Pearl Studio auditions 1,001 times. Oh. I mean that looking individual, not actually.
She's great. She's fantastic. But with that said, I do want to move on to this right here. Black Widow, our queen. So Natasha Romanoff will be back in action in Marvel Studios' Black Widow with a new release date of July 9th, 2021. The action and adventure continues with the first film from the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, both in theaters and on Disney Plus, releasing simultaneously with premiere access. So, AKA, I plan on seeing this in a movie theater. I'll be vaccinated by that point. I miss movies so much. I miss movie theaters. I cannot wait to go see it in a movie theater. I'm excited for this. I hope that like this is it, because at this point it'll be a full 2 years between Marvel movies. And as much as I love WandaVision, as much as I love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm excited to go see a Marvel movie again. Well, so Bruce, I'll start with you. Black Widow. Were you excited for this July 9th?
Oh, I'm down. I've been waiting ever since they announced it. And it sucks that it keeps getting pushed back. I do feel like they've been trying to like really just hold off on as much as possible because I'm sure they don't want to lose out on sales and all that. So I think that's been the only annoying thing because so many other companies now have realized like, all right, it's not happening. Let's just start releasing through HBO Max, or let's just start releasing through this and that. So they've been really holding back on this. So finally, I'm glad that it's being released. I pray that it's not going to be postponed anymore. I'm assuming this is it.
Yeah, I think they had to, because at some point, like there has to be some plot points that come into play for all of the various other projects that are coming in. Because I know, what's her face? God, I can't think of her name right now. But
Florence.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the girl from Midsummer.
Yes, yeah. So I know that she plays a role in the Hawkeye series, I believe. I believe she's in the
Okay.
new Hawkeye
And
series as
I
well.
think She-Hulk too. I think she's
Yeah,
on
so
She-Hulk too.
I know how important this movie is in introducing her.
Yeah.
So, and let alone, I mean, I think Taskmaster is the villain in Black
Yeah.
Widow. And I would imagine that that might play a role at some point as well. Jared, your thoughts, Black Widow. Are you excited for the new release date?
I mean, so I am. I've been. Y'all have heard me talk about this in our group chat. Y'all have heard me talk about it on here. Like, I think that when they first announced it, it bothered me because I think where it fits into the timeline should have been where it was released. I think that we should have just gotten it after Civil War because I think it's like an insult to Natasha's character almost to kill her and then release a movie like almost 2 years after she's dead. And for me, I care about it, but I think like as far as like if you take into the pandemic into consideration and just how long we've gone without Marvel films, it's like almost frustrating to me that we're now going to get like I'm interested in what's happening moving forward in the MCU. I would love to know what happened in the past, but for me, we know Natasha's dead. We know that this is not even something that is like a post Endgame story. It's
Right.
like a post Civil
It's a
War,
post-Civil War, yeah.
which is like we're going back at this point like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, where I'm at with it is I've said this before. Like I think in all of the death in the MCU, in my opinion, Natasha's was the most ridiculous, and I felt like it was the most unnecessary death. I know that this is probably not going to be well received, but I would have 100% rather have lost Hawkeye.
You're not the only person that I've heard say that.
A lot of people feel that way.
I think that it would have been cool to see Black Widow continue on in the next phase with new Avengers. I think that would have been really cool. I also think it's weird that we would have the only female Avenger, really, like the original female Avenger, kill her, give her no semblance of a funeral in the film, you know what I mean? And then release her movie 3 years later. I said this last time, I'm still not positive that it doesn't have to do with something surrounding the massive controversy of Scarlett Johansson in the last few years. Like, I'm not sure that maybe Disney is like, this might be too much because every time she gets cast in anything, there's now such an uproar from the community. So I wonder, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited for it, but it's definitely not in like my top 3 of things.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited she's getting her flowers, because she's been a part of the MCU community since Iron Man 2, right? Was it Iron Man 2 that she was introduced?
With Black Widow, she's I think now her and Thor are the only original Avengers that have been in all phases of, and Jarvis and Paul Bettany. They're the only ones that have been in all of the phases.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for her, I guess. I'm curious with the Black Widow movie. I think I did, like, I heard that there might be some footage from Civil War that they might be weaving into it, kind of like what they did with the first Spider-Man movie, where they weaved Civil War into that. That we might get like a Tony Stark cameo in this, but it was something that was like maybe like a deleted scene from Civil War that they're using in Black Widow, and that'll serve as like one of the cameos that take place. John, what are your thoughts on Black Widow?
So I'm like, the biggest issue that I think I am facing is I understand that Marvel's trying to meet. Okay, thank you, Dryer. Thank God. Sorry. The thing is that I know that they're trying to meet their profit margins and make money off of it, but like, I'm sorry, you should like, I do believe that she deserves her day, you know, to shine and in the movie theaters and stuff like that. But like, Marvel, you made $3 billion off of Endgame. You've made $1 billion on every movie that you put out there in the past 5, probably since Civil War. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the movies that have come out post Civil War, and you've made $1 billion on every single one of them. You guys should have dropped Black Widow about 6 months ago, and you should have given it to us for free on Disney Plus. I understand that Scarlett Johansson deserves that time to shine as a leading woman and about a female story. I'm here for it. I'm one of the people that loved The Last of Us Part 2 because it was a female-driven story. But at the same time, Disney dropped Onward, which is now nominated for several Oscars for best, picture
and Soul as well,
and Soul for free. And you're telling me that this Pixar could release 2 films for free, but y'all couldn't release one.
And a third one. There's another one. I can't think of the name right now, but there's another Pixar movie that's coming out this summer as well.
It's just crazy to pay for a streaming service, unless. It's crazy, and then pay for another film, and I get it, I understand it, but it's like, look at Mulan, which I thought was a phenomenal movie, Mulan, but I watched it a few weeks ago for free, and
yeah, John.
Sorry, I have opinions, but we can talk about that in another way.
Yeah, I didn't think it was world changing, but for me, I didn't pay $30 for it. I waited till they released it.
Oh, 100%. I did not pay for it either.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you plan on paying. Bruce, do you plan on paying to go to see?
Just like you, I'll be fully vaccinated. I'm going to the theater.
I'm gonna go to the theater too.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that bro date. I'm here for it.
Yes, please.
Do it.
I can't wait to go back to the movies. I think that's I guess this would be one of the first movies that I would go back to a theater to see. I'm fine. I'll be vaccinated. I'm gonna go do it. I'm excited. July 9th, 4th of July weekend. That they're saying that this will probably be the first major, movie that people really start to go back to the movies. I'd rather even then, even if there wasn't a vaccine, I might be you know what, I might have to risk it because I'm not paying $30.
And honestly, the thing about movies and movie theaters is I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer, but especially post-pandemic, I'm not sure how long an industry like that is going to survive that way. So I would go see a movie. I'm already fully vaccinated. So for me, I'm down to go. I'll go see it.
Do you guys hear that subtle flex? Do you hear that subtle flex? That he just did?
And you want to really be flex? And it's the Johnson & Johnson.
Hey.
Oh, girl, then I am not going with you, bitch. Johnson & Johnson, she got Pfizer.
Cut to me as soon as they injected in me, trying to make my chaos magic work. As soon as they got it, I was this is it. I'm in the car and Charlie's what are you doing? I was trying to make it happen. I'm
I love it.
But I think that at that point, I just don't listen, movies are overpriced anyway. You know what I mean? So
I mean, at the end of the day, you're still paying that $30. I joke about paying $30 on Disney Plus, but at the end of the day, if I were to buy 2 tickets and get nachos and a drink, that's more than $30. Especially if I were to go see it in IMAX.
I take my nephews to the movies and I might as well put the tickets on layaway because I'm literally they're can we get this and this? And I'm yeah, we'll get it. And they're your total is $65. I'm for some jujubes? For some Sour Patch Kids that they're not going to finish?
Drink. And a small
drink. But I go all out. I go to the AMCs that give you the chicken tenders.
Oh yeah,
Daddy,
and little mall.
Daddy, Daddy, do we understand? I'm ready.
It's the best. It's the best.
I get the chicken fingers. I get the pretzel bites.
Yeah,
I
get a hot dog. Sometimes they have the hot dog.
Yeah,
God knows what it's.
You can get a drink. You can get a
couple
cocktail.
AMCs. There was a couple times I went to an AMC, especially when I went to go visit my family out in Arizona. They have this one AMC. It's like a restaurant. They'll serve you. You don't even have to go to the thing. They'll come over hello, welcome to AMC.
Yeah, the one at Menlo Mall. At Menlo Mall, literally in Edison, they do that. You could you hit a button and they come and serve you. I mean, them chicken fingers were trash when I had them, but I can't imagine that perhaps they've gotten better over the years.
they've perfected the recipe.
They were those Johnson & Johnson chicken fingers.
Oh yeah, I tell you.
Y'all gonna be mad.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, so this is what I want to do. So I'm sure you've seen this already, but I want us to react to this. This is the new trailer for the new Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn.
This yet.
You haven't watched it yet?
I haven't had a chance. I was working the past several days, and I literally didn't know that we were looking at this until I was like closing my eyes, and you said 10 o'clock in the morning, and I cried. And I was like, oh my god, I have an extra hour of sleep. And then I was like, wait, Suicide Squad trailer. I'll watch it tomorrow.
All right, let's do this. So let's play it and see how we react to it.
You gotta be kidding me. You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
This coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head.
We don't leave one of our own behind. They're probably still alive.
No funny business. I don't know. These are dangerous people.
Team 2 is clear to go.
Fire up. 3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
What?
We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Blood sport.
I'm excited.
You know the deal. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
Next Ariana Grande.
Times are hard. You fail to follow my orders in any way, and I detonate the explosive device in the base of your skull.
That's what they think the vaccine.
This is the famous Suicide Squad.
They can't say from the director part of the galaxy, unfortunately.
Good though, like they should.
They can't.
Num num.
He thinks it's so ugly hot movie.
Oh,
Any questions?
And
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
we're all gonna die. I hope so. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die.
If we find out any information you give us is false, you die.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
What? No.
If you cough without covering your mouth.
Harley, although that isn't an open invitation for you to cough without covering your mouth.
What's the plan?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
You're the leader. You're supposed to be decisive.
And I've decided that you should eat a big bag of dicks.
If this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Why would someone put penises all over the beach?
Who knows why madmen do what they do?
This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
Don't you worry, eh? I'm gonna get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Oh my god! We've got a freaking kaiju up in this shit!
That's Starro.
They're clearly the party's doing
Great.
it.
It's like angels are splooching all over us.
Look at that. Look. I want us to take a quick look at this this cast here. So we have Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Jay Courtney, Peter Capaldi, David Dastmalchian, Daniela Melchior, Michael Rooker, who I love, Alice Braga, who I love, Pete Davidson, Joaquin Cosio, Juan Diego Bodo, Storm Reed, whom I love, Nathan Fillion, Taika Waititi, Steve Agee, Sean Gunn, Flula Borg, Mei Ling, I'm not going to mess up that last name, I don't know how to say it, Tanash Kajej Bolden, Jennifer Holland, Julio Cesar Ruiz, Sylvester Stallone, and Viola Davis. Initial thoughts. What are your thoughts on the first trailer for Suicide Squad?
I am ready for Starro. Are we familiar with Starro from the?
I didn't know much about Starro until after I watched the trailer, I was like, "What is that?" And then I saw Twitter blowing up, like they were so happy to see Starro. And I read one thing that Starro
likes to take control of people and like turn them like again, like he's like always a world conqueror. So like you see that right there, him like taking over that little girl. He'll make those little baby stars and it'll go to like people and it'll be on their faces and it'll like control them. So I'm interested to see who the Suicide Squad's about to get controlled by Starro. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Did you like it? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, it looks really fun. It looks like it's gonna be James Gunn a little bit off the leash. You know, I feel like with Marvel, he has to kind of hit so many kind of beats and so many bullet points that they expect from him.
Right.
And I feel like I remember it in an interview with James Gunn, DC basically came to him and was like, here's money, do it. Just make it. We don't care what you do. You can do whatever you want. And he was given free reign to write whatever he wanted and create whatever he wanted. So I'm hoping that...
I know that there's also what's his face? John Cena's character is getting his own TV show called The Peacemaker, which is coming on HBO Max at some point. Bruce, what are your thoughts on Suicide Squad trailer?
I mean, it looks like it's going to be great. A lot of fun, amazing. I'm sure really cool visuals. I'm a little like John said, it's James Gunn unleashed, but the fact I feel like it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but R-rated, you know, and it's sad. It's a shame because, again, I just not trying to put down DC.
You can
much, but
you should meet Michael because he would be the first place of that fan club.
It's just Marvel has said it. Marvel has done it. They took 12 years to perfect this perfect universe they made, and now DC's playing catch up. So they poached James Gunn. I mean, he got released because of all that stuff. But they got James Gunn. They basically gave him like, here, you need to like help us make our movie, whatever, into something substantial, so that we'll sell tickets and people will like it. And that's what he's doing. It's gonna be a great movie. I'm sure it will be a lot of fun.
Right.
But it seems like Guardians 3, like misfit cast, but now a lot more cursing, a lot more inappropriateness, a lot more gore. So it's a shame. I feel like to a certain extent that's I guess what DC is resorting to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I gotcha.
Like if they could, would they poach the Russo brothers to make their next Justice League?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a shame. Like they did it. James Gunn is a great director and a great writer, and he obviously made some great things happen with Guardians. But now DC is just like saying like, here, can you just come do that with us? and we'll even give you something more by like, do whatever you want. Here's all the money, make it R-rated, whatever you want. James Gunn, who would turn that down? Who would turn down?
Right, and this cast, like how can you say no to this cast, right? Like,
I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to be star-studded and all that. But that's my only worry. DC is usually like, big shiny things,
right?
But usually no substance behind it. So hopefully James Gunn is a substance type of person.
Right.
So hopefully we're putting
it's funny. It's funny you say that because I liked this trailer, but you know what else had a really good first trailer? The very first Suicide Squad.
It had an amazing trailer.
The first trailer for the first Suicide Squad was fantastic.
Those DC film trailers are so good.
Yes, that might have been one of my favorite DC EU trailers I've ever seen.
I thought Batman vs Superman trailer was amazing.
The Wonder Woman 1984 trailer kicked ass too. The Wonder Woman.
Jared, did it?
Yes, it did. Kyrus, we will fight over it, okay? In 10 years, we will talk about Wonder Woman 1984 the way we talk about things like Mommy Dearest and also Supergirl. They will.
You are having some hot takes today, sir.
Wonder Woman 1984 will become a camp classic in 10 years. I promise you that. We will be quoting it and make jokes about it. We will. I'm telling you.
You're probably right. It will become a camp classic. But the sad thing is that what they set out to do?
No, but that's not what they set out to do for Supergirl or Mommy Dearest either. But those movies are camp legends.
Jared with the hot takes today. I love it.
Jared, that being said,
what are your thoughts on Suicide Squad?
I think it's cool. Like I said, it's like weird. So I'm like, is it Suicide Squad 2? Like, is it number 2?
Right.
Or like, are we just like pretending that Suicide Squad 1 didn't happen? So
right.
I think it looks really cool. I agree. So here's what I love about, I'm like, how do I not be so long-winded? Here's what I love about the Guardians movies is if you watch Endgame, okay, as soon as they go to when we're the beginning of Star-Lord's story, we hear what's the song? Come and Get Your Love. We hear it, okay?
Mhm.
And it's so indicative of the Guardians is that style of soundtrack, which now I think we're learning is very much James Gunn. But with that being said, for me, it did feel a little very much that where I'm like, okay, we have lots of
You hear that
gore.
song in the background.
Yeah, we have like
Yeah.
a 70s, late 70s, early 80s soundtrack. So it's like very much for me, like I was like, okay, I get it. I think it's cool. I will definitely watch it. I'm way more excited about it than I have been other DC films. I said this to Bruce, I've said this to you guys before, although it does favor my own interests. I feel like Marvel has become like the Beyonce of superhero movies, where it is, in my opinion, at a level that it is such a perfected product, like Beyonce, that it is difficult to compare it to things in the same genre. So
Right.
I feel like Beyonce, you can't compare it to the other superhero films because in my mind, it's Marvel is so much higher. So what in my opinion has been very successful that is like the antithesis of that, The Boys or Watchmen, these other shows that go in a completely other direction. So they're able to hone in on that. This thing that DC's trying to do, it's almost like Wizard of Oz, like where I'm like, do you guys think we don't see that you're trying to copy a formula that took Marvel a decade to perfect? Like, no one knew that the Avengers was coming when Iron Man 1 came out. We hoped for it, but no one like knew it was going to happen. Even I would say like a few movies in, we're all like, all right, we know that we've done the cut scenes. We know that they're going to do the Avengers. When are the Avengers coming? With this, it's like, I would almost love it if they didn't even. I love the Suicide Squad, but I would have almost loved if we got like maybe a Harley Quinn film, or if we got something that was more one character focus. And then in the long game, 5 or 6 years later, we get a more ensemble piece. Because the biggest criticisms of these DC films is that they lack substance. We get like action, we get hot people fighting, we get like cool superpowers, but then like at the end of it, we don't really know what happened. So I think James Gunn will change that. I think Suicide Squad will be good, but selfishly, I don't know. It's like finding like a diamond in a pile of poop where you're like, okay, like this is great, but are there any more diamonds in here? Do I want to keep looking through the shit for the diamond? It's like,
Sure.
you
Yeah,
know, it's weird.
I definitely see your point there, and I'm hopeful.
I think
I'm
it'll be
hopeful.
great.
I
think
think it's going to be better than the first Suicide Squad. I know that there's been, since the release of the Snyder Cut, a lot of people have been saying release the Ayer cut for David Ayer, who directed the first Suicide Squad, who said that, you know, the version that we got to see is not the version that he wanted out there. But I know that neither John or Jared want that, because neither of them like Jared Leto, and that would mean that they would get more Jared Leto if they were to release the Ayer cut. I would be the one person in our little group that would be excited.
Meryl Streep as
Exactly,
the
man. So extra. Like
We're not hashing it again.
Chewing
No,
the scenery.
we are not hashing
everywhere
this
he
again.
goes,
No,
like-
no. We're not doing
my
that.
God. Lord Jesus, kill
That's
it with
hilarious.
fire.
Okay, so friends, let's
but wait, really quick. I do
Yeah.
have to say, sorry to cut you off, but I'm unbelievably excited for John Cena. I love John Cena in everything he's in, and I think superhero movies will be. I'm almost sad he's not in a Marvel film, because I feel like superhero movies are going to be like his lane.
Well,
I think
he'll. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, the fact that they already gave Peacemaker a TV show, I think says a lot about the character that we're about to see.
His lane is that like dry comedy. He's so beautiful to look at, but he's a good actor. Like I'm very he's probably the person I'm the most excited of the new people, and Idris obviously, but I'm very excited.
Yeah. So let's end this with Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I was a big fan. So let me tell you what I loved about this episode. They did something in this episode that I've never seen any comic book movie do successfully, if at all. They tackled race.
Still
hardcore.
They tackled race. And one of my favorite scenes surrounded this man right here. Isaiah Bradley. This man, Carl Lumbly is his name in real life, and he played this so well, and I enjoyed this scene so much. It was a short scene, but it was so powerful, and like I don't think I've ever seen a Marvel movie or a comic book movie in general just talk about this so bluntly, how that there was a Black super soldier that that even Captain America didn't know about, that because they were testing this stuff on African Americans, and he was somebody that survived, and he was jailed for it, and now he has this quiet anger that he has to live with. And I just, man, I don't know. I doubt he'll come into play for the rest of the series, because I know that the series has a lot to tackle. But I thought that this was a powerful scene. The other scene that came right after this, I want to show. This was the scene that played right after they left his house.
Oh my God.
Girl.
Sam. Why didn't you tell me about Isaiah? How could nobody bring him up? I asked you a question, Bucky.
I know.
Steve didn't know about him?
He didn't. I didn't tell him.
So you're telling me that there was a Black super soldier decades ago and nobody knew about it?
Was not expecting this.
Hey. What's up, man?
Is there a problem here?
No, we're just talking.
We're fine.
Can I see your ID?
I don't have ID.
Man,
why?
seriously?
Just calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing here
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
No,
so
I'm
we
not
get
giving
the
him
hell out of
shit. We're just talking.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering you?
No, he's not bothering me. Do you know who this
I
is?
know! Right? Just that line right there.
Oh, God. I am so sorry, Mr. Wilson. I didn't recognize you without the goggles. I'm really, really sorry about this.
Wow.
Guys, just wait here, okay? So just...
Like
this man was just on national TV like a week ago.
Yeah.
This man was on national TV giving up this Captain America shield.
Right. And what here's the thing. Here's the thing that blew my mind is that I saw a lot of people posting online, white people posting online saying, why are they putting this stuff in, these shows and these movies, leave that stuff out of this, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is like
relevant. It's culturally relevant. It's so real. And like, hats off to Marvel for doing that, because like with WandaVision, they talk about the importance of mental health. Yes. And now with this, they're talking about the importance of systemic racism. Yes. Like these are things that you wouldn't expect from
when the cop asked Bucky, is this man bothering
you? Like, what?
And I think so I literally, like, if we have like a group chat, obviously for anybody listening, where we like do scheduling and what we're going to talk about and stuff. And me and Jackie, our sister in arms, who's not here today, but I was texting her and I were watching it at the same time. And I sent in the group, I was like, why am I actually crying? And I think, so for me, it is so powerful that they kept those two scenes together, because what really struck me with Isaiah was it was so, I don't know if this was the intent, but what I read from Sam being so upset was immediately thinking of Sam's entire life, where he's only had these white superheroes or white, like this. I always talk about representation on this podcast, and he's so, you can tell that he's like, my whole life, I could have known that Black people can do this. And now you're going to tell me after this whole thing is over. And I also think it's a huge commentary. We don't have to get deeply into this, but putting him in jail, the juxtaposition, I can't say the word, but the difference between my cats are killing each other. The difference between Steve Rogers being exalted his entire life versus Isaiah being put in jail for 30 years immediately put me in a place of how many white people are out here living free, doing whatever they want, that may have different charges on their records that Black people have the exact same charges for, that are put in jail. And for me, that was such a way. I'm in a lot of awful Marvel groups on Facebook because they have good memes, and they're super xenophobic and super homophobic and super sexist and super racist. And I've said this multiple times, and I don't mean to be exclusionary, but if you are a xenophobic person, Marvel is not for you, because these superheroes are a commentary on racism.
They always have been.
That's all it's
ever been since it began.
It's just so weird that people would be offended because Disney. What I loved about it was, we talked about this last week, how they did the scene in the bank and how so many Black Americans go through that every day, where white people get loans that they don't get and they're put in these situations. And I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, maybe that's like the only racism they're going to sprinkle in here. But they're like, what this made me feel like is this is going to be an issue for Sam.
It's the end of the first episode, just right when he watches the TV and there. I mean, like, just think about it. How can you not think of, like, they made him give up, or they probably took the shield to put into a museum, and then he gave a white guy the role of the new Captain America. Like, it never even crossed their mind.
Yeah,
hey, maybe we should ask the guy who already owns the shield, who is already an Avenger, who's already like a really great human being for our side,
who has saved the world. You're picking a random white person who to be to hold this title when you have someone who has literally, you'd be dead if it was not for this man. You'd be dead.
And it's because he's Black.
Yes.
This is the thing also, that they're doing so well to juxtapose exactly what Sam's journey is. You know, when with John Walker, they said, oh, you went to MIT and they did tests on you and you graded off the charts and you're this and you're that and you're amazing. And the thing is that's so wonderful about this storytelling is Marvel is giving us basically what it means to have white privilege.
100%.
You know, like this man, he tested off the charts, he's this, he's that. Sam did not have any soldier serum. He had nothing. He had his intellect and some fucking high-tech fucking wings, and this motherfucker saved the world.
Yes.
But yet this guy who you're like, wow, we took him to MIT and he was so amazing and he's so great and he's so wonderful. And yet his backup man, his best friend is a Black man. His wife is a Black woman. So this man is constantly thriving off of white privilege on the backs of colored individuals lifting him up. You know, people of color lifting him up. You know, and I think that is, again, it's going to be something that's going to go over so many people's heads.
Oh, 100%.
100%. That like that storyline is white privilege at
absolutely.
Its
and I hope that it continue. I hope my hope for this series is that while I don't expect it to be like the overall like story or plot line here, I hope that Marvel finds a way to interweave that thought process. And that's why I love these TV shows, is because you get a chance to flesh out this type of thing that they would never have time to do this in Infinity War.
And there's such a racist fan base for superheroes that the movie would tank. There would be, if they did release this as a film, we would all go see it, and the people that care about this stuff would go see it. But they would make it like, look at like, not to like, I know this is a white situation, but like if you look at Captain Marvel, I like that movie.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I like that movie. And the movie made $1 billion. So let's just say that it's $1 billion film. And there are definitely issues with it. But listen, when you get an origin story 9 years into all of this stuff, you have to just take an L and be like, we're going to learn about this character for a minute. We don't need 1,000 cameos.
Right. We're not DC.
You cannot mention Captain Marvel around these people without them literally being like, it's a shit movie. Brie Larson is mean. She's a bully. Everybody hates Brie Larson. And
I'm really happy you said that, because that was the exact example I was going to use, that even when it comes to female empowerment, people were just like in their feels. And I'm like,
girl,
get out of here.
Ghostbusters.
These white men defend their masculinity by watching a bunch of jacked, ripped men in spandex and underwear. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but for me, I'm like, are you mad because it's a girl? Are you mad because it's a girl and it's not a man?
So wonderful is that a lot of those men too are the ones that are like, we can't see a black Superman, we can't see a black Captain America, we can't see this because it's my childhood.
Right, exactly. And then they'll be like, that's not how it was.
Right,
that's not how it was in the comic.
Wow, man, like you are.
Like, have you ever read the comics?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
You're so focused on race that you
saw this
just
man
ignore progress.
I saw this man trash the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he was like, this racism stuff is like against Stan Lee's vision and blah blah blah. And I was like,
no.
Literally, somebody commented.
We all know that's not true.
As a friggin' like
we all know that's not true.
I commented under it, and I was like, I think you should Google that before you.
Yes.
I think there are hundreds of quotes of Stan Lee saying, "Black superheroes, gay superheroes, everyone can be a superhero." That's what this is.
That's the
point. Literally,
exactly.
It's always been the point for kids to look up and just like be inspired that they can
absolutely. I agree. I want to do a couple just quick hot takes to end this our little panel today. First and foremost, we got a little background. We kind of alluded to this man right here.
It's the guy from Up. I love it.
The grandfather.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, the grandfather from Up.
Quick thoughts on what we think of the new Captain America in this episode. John, I'll start with you.
We'll give her a 6 out of 10. She's trying to figure it out. I feel like she's a little friendly. I feel like she's a little too friendly. I feel like she thinks that like she's like new to the party and she's like Bucky, bitch. Don't call me that. Like, don't call me. Do not call me by my name. All right,
you don't know me like that.
Hammer.
My favorite part was there was my two favorite parts in regards to him was when he said something about he's like it would be nice if in regards to like Captain America, it'd be nice if Captain America had his wingman by like, and then Falcon was like, it's always that last line.
That last line, yeah.
Because he was doing okay up until that point. Like you saw
they always showed their true colors.
Exactly.
Around that last line, the true motivation.
He also, let the record show, got his ass kicked, by the way.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does this guy, did he take any super soldier serum? Or
no,
does he have any?
No.
But I feel like that's where it's going to end up going.
Because here's my thing. In the comics, which is so amazing too, Isaiah Bradley and his nephew Eli,
Young Avengers.
Young Avengers.
Young Avengers here. Yeah.
I'm not signing up for Young Avengers until we get the X-Men, so you could call me after. Thank you. I don't need 2 Avengers before I get the X-Men.
We're definitely getting Young Avengers before we're getting the X-Men, baby.
Okay.
But here's the thing. In the comics, Eli, he is actually like, he's actually a drug addict in the comics. Like, I know that's not this one. That's his grandfather.
Yeah.
But in the comics, he's the drug addict, which is kind of messed up. Of course, we have to have an African-American individual be a drug addict, you know? But the thing is, the drug he takes helps him become Patriot, helps him become a super soldier. We already have these 8 well, actually now 7, spoiler alert. But we have these super soldier individuals, and they're running with vaccines, they said. I'm wondering if that's the drug that's making them super soldiers or not. Yes, this individual.
Yeah. He's so cute.
And in the comics, he is, you know, taking this serum so that he can become Patriot. But then through twists of fate and, you know, story, he ends up having a blood transfusion with his grandfather, because his grandfather, again, is a super soldier, and he ends up becoming a super soldier from that transfusion. So I'm wondering if some way, shape, or form that's going to play into the show. And again, I wonder if this character, John Walker, is maybe going to take a super soldier serum too, because he's going to be obsessed with this idea that, like, I need to be the new Captain America. I need to be a new, symbol of hope, and I need to be what everybody needs me to be.
Right.
And if anything, in that obsession to be the new Captain America, he loses exactly what it means to be Captain America, and he becomes a villain.
I think that was clear during his last line when he's like, "Stay out of my way."
That was it. That was it for me.
That was the moment right there.
I think in the comics, John Walker as U.S. agent, I think he is kind of like just that, like very self-motivated and super. He's a little too like nationalistic, a little too just gung-ho U.S. Like he would be like, oh, all for the border wall. Our people. Like he's that kind of guy, not necessarily a bad guy, but also not necessarily thinking good for all, which is Steve Rogers always embodied. Like the good, we have to just think about the good of the many, and not even the good of the many outweigh the good of the few. It's either we figure it out for the good of the many or we don't. There's no debate on that. And John Walker,
I think I know exactly who he's going to turn out to be.
Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto. Thank you.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
It's clearly Mephisto. The way that he shaped his hands while he was talking.
It was
an M. He did this at one point. He did this.
No, you see, his hair was going into like a 666. And
there's a meme going around. There's a meme going around where his forehead wrinkle makes an M, and they're like, "There it is." There it is.
Mephisto. I mean,
I think
all of the clues are in plain sight. People just don't.
So I was super involved, and I actually I didn't hate him as much as everyone else did for 30 seconds of screen time last week. I'm like, give him a fucking break. But with that being said, I liked, because once again, the MCU is always going to be the top level of cinematic storytelling of any other films in the world, and I think that I liked how they almost tried to get us to like him this episode, where he's
that whole beginning 10-15 minutes.
I would say till the end, really till the end, when he's trying to get Bucky and Sam to work with him, and I was watching it and I was like, he's not a bad guy. I'm like, he just is. But then once he was like, stay out of my way, I'm like, Bucky has been killing bitches for 150
he will snap your
years.
Neck.
Right?
He will kill you. Sir. He will kill you and then go hang out with your grandfather 70 years later.
Lucky he is in therapy, girl. All right.
Y'all know how I feel about that therapist who selectively is helping Bucky, but let Wanda Dunn take over a whole county in New Jersey. So, but
Here's the thing. I'm excited. I think that this is what's going to happen with Mr. Bradley here, or John, whatever his name is, not Bradley, John Walker. I think that they're going to play games with our head for a little bit. I think ultimately he's going to be a good guy, and he's going to unite with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're going to be getting Sharon. I was going to say Sharon Osbourne. That's not who it is. Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter.
It's Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto. Yeah, they're all going to team up together to fight these other super soldiers, and we're getting Zemo obviously as well. I think that they're going to have to at some point team up. I don't think that ultimately John will be a bad guy per se in this series.
I do actually.
Yeah?
I think that Zemo is going to be what changes it. I think that they're going to go to Zemo, and I think Zemo will turn out to be a mistake, as he always is. And I don't think we should go anywhere near him. I'm confused as to why we haven't killed him. And I think what's going to happen is I agree with John, or I do think that eventually he will become a super soldier. And I think that Zemo will then involve himself somewhere and flip him.
Yeah,
and
I like Harvey Dent Joker thing. Like,
absolutely,
side of what he needs to be defending.
I think it's going to become too much for him. Right. I think that I think they're playing it too much of him. Like there were so many moments where he called himself Captain America. Like that was blasphemous when he first showed up and was like,
right. He was like, John Walker, the new Captain America.
I said, he didn't even say the new Captain America.
Right.
He was like, he's like John Walker, Captain America. I was like, you are not fit to shine Captain America's shoes.
I do not think you have the facilities, big man.
But with that being said, I think that I will say this because I'll forget to mention it. My favorite part of the entire episode was that we brought our MCU banter back. Like when we had like Bucky and Sam and even with John, and it just was, for me, I was like, that is probably the only thing I missed from WandaVision, because we didn't really get that out of Darcy in WandaVision.
Right.
And that just is, I was excited. Like, I didn't hate him as much, but I think that he's eventually going to flip. I also think that I'm not going to make any Mephisto predictions, but I think that we're eventually going to figure out what's happening with Steve Rogers. I think we're
they still haven't, like, they mentioned him again, but they didn't.
But not alive or dead.
Yeah.
When he said Zemo, I almost shit my pants. When they were talking about going to Zemo, and he's like, "There's someone that you," Isaiah. When he was like, "There's someone you should meet."
Thought it was going to be old Steve.
I'm like, is it Steve? Are they
for
doing
a quick second? Same thing.
But then once they showed up in Baltimore, I was like, okay.
Old
Steve is not in Baltimore.
Down in the hood, like he would not be the last
at all. Though that would be pretty badass though. But with that said, I think that I mean, we do know that obviously because of the promos, we do know that that Falcon does get the shield back in some manner.
And the toy companies once again ruined it because they released his final. I don't understand. I tweeted this the other day where I'm like, I don't get how in 2021 we're at a place where multiple times toy companies have ruined.
They spoiled some stuff for WandaVision as well.
White Vision. They spoiled White Vision, and I think they spoiled Agatha too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's beyond repair. Like, if I were executive, I'd be like, listen, we're gonna let you make these toys, but you need to shut up.
I'd be like, we're making them 10 years after the movie comes out because y'all can't handle it. You can't handle it.
But no, I'm excited for where this goes. I'm excited to see some Zemo. I would imagine we're gonna get Sharon at some point. I hope she's not just like a 1 episode thing.
Yeah, I hope she's next
because we only have 4 episodes left.
What's her name?
Sharon Carter.
Yeah, her actress name, because she was on Brothers and Sisters and she was on that show Revenge.
Yeah. Her name is,
because she's underrated. She's great as Sharon Carter, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on. If only there were a device.
Her
name is Emily Van Camp.
Yes.
Emily Van Camp. So I'm excited for the next episode. I don't think there's anything else out like that to anticipate this upcoming week, but I also wasn't expecting Suicide Squad this week. Oh, I think that they're releasing a black and white version. A black and white.
They already
did. Did they release it already?
I'm
not watching it. I'm sorry.
This is gray version.
I'm
not watching
I have embarrassingly watched the Justice League film probably 6 times. The 4-hour one. Like,
it's a 4-hour movie, Jared.
Yeah, so once again, don't judge my free time. I am talented, skinny, and angry.
Did you fast forward the slow motion?
No.
Wait. Why did you just say slow motion? Do you have a gripe about it? The same gripe I have?
Yes, 30. They did some research.
25 minutes.
Is it 25 minutes or 30? Yeah. 25 minutes of slow motion. That movie could have been 3.5 hours.
Getting annoyed with that. Just all the slow motion.
That's all it was.
Over
30 minutes.
Listen, I really love Gal. I really
do too. But that's what pictures are for.
I know, but I don't think that we love
YouTube.
I am so enthralled by her performance as Wonder Woman.
That's
so
fair.
For me,
I get it.
I am always, and also like, I am usually like when I'm watching it, like a 4-hour movie is a lot for me. So I've watched it every single time I've watched it. I've seen something I didn't see the time before. And I'm trying honestly to just like love it. So it's like when I first watched it, I had issues. We talked about it. There were moments where I didn't really like, and now that I've watched it multiple times, like I really do think that if it had been released instead of the theatrical cut, I think the Snyderverse would have continued.
Oh, sure.
Without a doubt. Nightmare films. So I like it because I like watching it. How dare they put a black and white version out and expect me to watch that film? Like,
I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry.
You're out of your mind. I'm like, you can give me a black and white of the Joss Whedon one. I'll watch that, but I'm not watching.
No, I think I'm done. I'm Justice Leagued out. I'm sorry. I'm Justice Leagued out.
Again in the summertime, if they put it.
And I have a thing. I can't rewatch movies anyway. like in general. I can't rewatch
I
movies.
rewatch movies all the time.
I can't do it.
I have seen
can't.
Endgame at least 27 times.
No,
at
I can't do
least.
it. I've seen it once. That's all I need.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Charlie like gets mad at me because like I watch like every time I'm done, I'm like, let's watch them all again. He's like, why?
I can't. And that's not just for comic book movies. I'm talking movies and TV shows in general. Like once I watch it once, I can't rewatch it. Even some of my favorite movies, I've only seen once or twice. I can't do it. I can't rewatch it.
I'm rewatching. I'm not rewatching, but I'm watching True Blood for the first time now. Charlie and I've never seen it.
Shut the fuck up! I'm watching True Blood.
Wait. Hold on. Let's end this podcast and then we'll talk True Blood.
Sorry, we're gonna keep going.
Okay, I had to stop them before they went off about True Blood. With that said, my friends, thank you.
Sorry.
My friends, thank you so much for watching the Kyrus Has Friends podcast. If you enjoyed watching this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, make sure you follow the Vibe with Kai or the Kyrus Has Friends. That way you are informed of when things are being posted. And then last but not least, you can follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that at The Vibe with Kai. You can also visit my website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting blogs and things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and have a good life full of good vibes. To my panelists, Jared, John, and our special guest panelist today, Bruce. Daily Cruz, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. With that said, as always, my friends, God bless and good vibes.